our main event today. She is the Biz Diva. She's a successful entrepreneur since she was 23. She's built several businesses from the ground up, including a multi-million-dollar business that she sold in 2004. And she became a one-page business plan consultant in 2006. So that's really quite a while ago, and has been continuously using this protocol to support emerging and establishing businesses, help them step up to the next level of their success and profitability. On a personal note, she believes her good fortune in life has been the ability to connect her passion to a profitable revenue stream time and time again. Cynthia, the floor is yours.
Good morning. So nice to see all of you, and thank you, the board, for having me. I feel very privileged to be here. All right, let me pull up my PowerPoint. And I am going to use the slideshow format unless it proves to be not a good choice. Okay, you don't need to see that. All right, so I want to first give homage to my mentor, Jim Harand. The one-page business plan was Jim's fabulous product. And I met Jim soon after I sold my company, because what I knew, I had this epiphany the minute I hung out my consulting shingle, that the one thing that had been missing from my business I spent 20 years building, making it big. We manufactured natural fiber clothing for plus size women, and that's the business that I sold. And the one thing that I didn't have that I recognized as an afterthought that I needed was some sort of planning tool, and really more of an action planning tool, not so much, a 35-page business plan, right? Okay, so I had the good fortune to connect with Jim early on, and my relationship with him was, he was my mentor, he was my friend, he was my colleague, and sadly he passed away last year very unexpectedly. And I like to give recognition and homage to him, because the one-page business plan really changed the face of my professional life, and Jim changed the face of my my interrelational life. So I just want to thank him for and introduce him to you if you didn't know him. I know many of you did know him, but okay. So what are we going to do here today, right? Well, I'm going to introduce this planning tool, and I personally think it is pretty much the cat's meow. You're going to learn some methodology. We don't have time to dig too deeply into it, but you're going to get a taste of what the one-page business plan is all about. You're going to have an opportunity to draft your vision statement, and hopefully you'll be inspired, and you'll have the opportunity to connect with perhaps your inner self in terms of thinking about the vision for your business, but also with someone else and other people in the group. Okay.
Cynthia, if I may interrupt just briefly, could you move your microphone a little bit lower, because there's a lot of breath happening while you're talking. Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I have a little thing on it, and I was hoping that would fix it. Okay, so let me know if it gets better, and if not, I'll do something else. Okay. All right, so this is a call out to you, and you're welcome to share your thoughts about why you don't write a business plan. And I come to this because I believe many of us understand the value and have a belief that, yeah, it would be a great thing to do, but we do not do it. So I just want to open up just very briefly if anybody has any comment about why you don't choose to take the time to write your plan.
I'm too busy and it doesn't generate any immediate revenue.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ones that I see out there are so complicated, and then by the time you finish writing them out, things change, and then you want to go back, and I don't want to redo the whole thing again.
Okay.
It just sounds like a huge and intimidating process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you think you have it in your head and that's good enough. These are my 2 or 3 goals, and I don't need to write it all out.
Great. Well, these are all very common reasons, and there are things that I hear over and over again. So I'm hoping that I can shift your perspective by offering you an opportunity to consider that perhaps it's not all these things that you have in your mind. Okay. So I just want to tell you, like, why do you need a plan? Okay. I have opinions about why you need a plan. Okay. And, visualizing your ideas on a piece of paper, I will tell you, it has much more impact than thinking them in your head. Lori touched on this when she was talking about branding, and it's really important to not rely on our headspace to contain everything that we are trying to bring forth in our business. We do not have the ability or the capacity to manage all that information in a way that actually is productive for us. Okay. My belief is that if you're focused, you're clear, you're going to make more money and you're going to serve more clients. That again, if you hone in on where you want to go and how you're going to get there, it's quite a powerful roadmap. Okay. Your resources are better utilized. Time, money, and energy, we scatter ourselves and our resources all over. And again, if you have a path and you have a direction and you set yourself in that direction, my belief is you're much more likely to use the resources better, your time, your money, and your energy. Distractions are a big issue, meaning that life pulls at us from many directions, not just what's happening within our business. And it's fabulous if you can really prioritize what is most important. And if everything is not equal under God, meaning, you're not giving equal attention to 15 different opportunities, possibilities, I believe that, again, your focus will be sharper and more productive in the bigger picture. Okay. And I've said this already, that, once you know where you're going, it's much easier to get there. If you do not know where you're going, you are very unlikely to get there. And if you have a team, if you have employees, if you work with other people, colleagues, consultants, you're all going to be on the same page. And that is a really powerful experience when you are understood and everybody can get behind you to support your efforts and you for other people as well. And, the one thing I didn't write down here that came up with the feedback about why you don't write a plan is it's a living, breathing document. This is not set in stone. This is not you put it down today and then you're stuck with it for the next year. The beauty of the one-page business plan is that it is in real time, meaning you keep it up, you change it, you take away what's not working. When things are complete, they don't need to stay there. You can put new work efforts into place. So it's one of the things that I personally am very passionate about, is that it stays with me, it partners with me, it's my friend. My business plan is my friend. It's there to support me. Okay. All right. So there are 5 parts to the one-page business plan. The vision, which is what we're going to be working on today, is what are you building? It's a process of thinking into the future of what your business is going to look like in 3 to 5 years. And it might or might not have any relationship to what your business looks like today. Okay. The mission statement, why are we building it? And in the one-page plan, the mission statement really functions a lot as a marketing tagline. It's really, it's a few choice words that separate you out from the pack of your competition. Like, why would somebody want to work with you? What is different and special and unique about your business that is going to attract your ideal clients? The objectives are, what results do you need to measure? This is the quantitative part of the plan. The numeric part of the plan always starts with gross revenue goal and moves down from there, but it has to have a measurable, trackable component to it. And it's something that you're committing to tracking so that you can actually see if you're hitting the metrics that you are in your head believing are important to your success. And then strategies, foundation. How are you going to build this business over time? This is really the platform, the structure that everything stems up from. It's not necessarily things that are happening right this very moment. It could be things that you know need to be in place over time in order for your business to grow into the fabulous business that you desire. But it's your foundational structure. And then lastly are the action plans. You know, what is that work that needs to be done? And this is not a task list. You know, most of us start out using this as a task list. It's hard for us to grasp the concept of a big, meaty project, you know, and what I always tell people is if it can get done in a day, it's not an action plan. It's something that has to be implemented, and you're going to have a task list or a timeline offline to your action plan in order to get it where it needs to get done. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop here for a second, and we're going to move into the vision statement. Yeah, I'm not used to doing this in such a short period of time, so I apologize if I'm being a little bit abrupt, and hopefully I'm going to cover all the bases that you need covered. Okay, so the reason I chose the vision statement for today is that it's one of the more enjoyable, fun parts of the plan, and you don't need any supporting documentation to take a moment to envision what the future of your business might look like, right? Okay. And this is the vision statement in the sample packet that I sent out, that those of you who printed it, you have a sample one-page business plan. And this is the vision statement from that one-page plan, okay? And it's a very well-written vision in my opinion. All right, in 2022, the Splendid Spa is a $1.3 million regional destination spa in the wine country of Northern California. We foster a nurturing and accessible spa environment. We offer high quality massage, facials, private mineral tubs, and mud baths using true water and true volcanic ash at reasonable prices to people seeking to care for themselves in a nurturing, respectful environment. Now, those of you who know the wine country of Sonoma and Napa, which is where I live, know that most spas are high-end, classy. They attract a very different kind of person, and they have a very different vision and mission than Splendid Spa. I feel like they do a very good job of articulating who they are and what they're all about. Okay, so I think it's a very well-written vision statement. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to use the fill in the blank templates. And that's one of the things that the one-page business plan, part of the structure is templates. And the beauty of templates is that you don't have to originate everything in your brain. You can start with filling in the blanks, and then from there, take it and make it your own in whatever way that you choose. But what Jim found, and what all of us who work with Jim found, is that having these templates really helps streamline your thought process, and it just tends to make it a bit easier than starting from scratch, so to speak. Okay, so if you've printed out the handout, now would be the time to pull it out, and you're going to see the fill in the blanks vision statement. And if you don't have the handout printed out, a blank piece of paper will be fine. You can write these words into your blank piece of paper. And I'm going to guide you through this process, okay? And, you know, obviously in the time we have, this is going to be a draft. So you're not trying to perfect it. You're not trying to make it pretty. You're basically want to get the information out of your head onto the piece of paper so that you have some content to work with, all right? So if you're an established business, I'd like you to go out at least 3 up to 5 years. Okay, so you can fill in with the next blank years. If you're new, you might not want to go out more than a couple of years because it might be a challenge for you since you're not really all that clear on what exactly it is that you're doing. Okay, and then what is your business name? So within the next 3 years, I'm going to grow my business into a successful, and I want you to move your brain to that 3, 4, 5 year mark. And what's the increase in revenue that you would like your business to be receiving at that next jump? Okay. And it's ideally in alignment with what you're doing now, unless you have some big major plan that you know is going to increase your revenue exponentially. Okay. But you're thinking this is gross revenue. This is top line revenue. And then check which of the geographical scopes serves you the best, and choose one of them. Do not choose all of them. So if you want to be international and you're also national, regional, local, then just choose international. If you want to be local, stay local. If you want to be local and regional, choose regional. So just choose one. Don't choose 3 or 4 of them. Okay. All right. So then, what kind of business is it that you have? And I always encourage people to think literal and figurative, not just, I'm a brand development consultant. Okay, that's one way that I'll go back to Lori could explain herself. But what is behind that? What is she? Does she change the life of a business? Is she known for increasing revenue, visibility, and opportunity because of the kind of work she does? So you can approach it from either or both, literal, figurative. But I'd like to encourage you to dig a little deeper behind just the quote thing that you do into more of what is the value of what you do? What do you bring forth by sharing your wisdom and your craft and your brilliance? Okay. And then what do you provide? What are, again, the literal products or services? And again, you can throw in a little of that back end stuff in here too, because I think that it helps us to think behind the scenes a little bit. Sometimes I think we get really locked into what's on the surface in our brains and in our business. And I just like to encourage a little of more of a deeper dive into the I'm going to call it the true value, not so much the surface look, but the deeper underneath the surface. What is it that you are about and that your business is about? And then who's your ideal client? And, if you haven't done an ideal client exercise, if you're not clear on who your ideal client is, I just have to encourage you with all of my heart to dive into it. It's really difficult to build a very successful business if the ideal client is not clarified. None of us have the resources to be everything to everybody. So when you throw out that big net, hoping to catch a few fish, that's one way to do it, but it's not effective, and it doesn't allow you to use your skills and talents in the highest and best way that you have available to you. And I always comment that, the riffraff will come along because oftentimes there's resistance to honing in and really tightening up that quote ideal client, because I don't want to limit who I work with. I want to be available to everybody. And what I'll tell you is that, every word out of your mouth should speak to your ideal client, whether it's, verbal, in marketing materials, whatever. And those of us who aren't your ideal client that are attracted to you or drawn to you, we will still reach out to you. We'll still look to you. Okay. All right. So how are we doing? I want to open up. Are there any clarifying questions that anybody needs me to answer? So I see there's a raised hand, but I think I need someone else to.
Christy Cahill.
Okay, thank you. Hi.
One question as you were talking through the ideal client, is it possible and is it okay to have a couple of client segments, meaning they may not be the exact same, but they're ideal for their own reason, but not having it open to every person is available to be a client? Is it okay? Can you have more than one ideal client?
Maybe. I think you can start out with that, and then as you work this through, you might find out that maybe they're more one person, or it's more about the qualities of the person, not so much that they're necessarily different people. Without knowing you or your business, it's hard for me to say. But yes, it's fine. Put it in there and see how you go forward with it. Okay.
We have another question from Sheila.
Yes, I'm maybe I'm taking the structure of this, the template for the first draft of the vision statement too literally, but I'm trying to relate that to the example that you gave of Splendid Spa. So type of business, is that where what you do for people would come in? It's not like a one word thing, one or even 5 words type of business. I'm trying to think about how to use this.
Yeah,
template.
so what kind of business they are is that they're a regional destination spa, and this is what they offer, this, nurturing, accessible spa and all these services. So they're talking about who they are as a nurturing and accessible spa environment. That's really probably the crux of who they are, and then they go into what they do. So my encouragement is, I'm going to get back to the right slide, sorry. My encouragement is for you to think below the surface of the one word or a couple of words that you would use to describe your business, and think about, perhaps more elaborate a little bit in terms of describing it rather than just being quite so literal.
Thank you, that's helpful.
Okay, good. Any more questions?
Doesn't look like it.
I'm sorry?
Does not look like it right now.
Okay, does not look like it. Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So again, we recognize in the amount of time that we just had to do this, that it's definitely a rough draft. However, with that said, we're going to move forward, and you're going to do a little work on it in terms of sharing it with another person, right? So you're each going to have 3.5 minutes. You're going to be put into a breakout room with another person. Okay, and you're going to need to time yourselves, and I think that there'll be a big picture timer, so you'll get booted out of the room when your time is up. But I want to make sure that both of you have time to share your vision statements. So decide who's going to go first, and let's just say it's going to be the person with the shortest hair, because that will solve any having to go back and forth. And you're going to read your vision statement to your partner. The person listening is going to answer these 2 questions. What I like about your vision is, and what is unclear in your vision is. We're not, you're only going to have so much time. So I want you to be pretty specific in terms of what it is that's clear and makes sense and that you really grasp. And if there's anything that is not coming through or is really not understandable, so that the person who is writing can, whoops, sorry, take some notes and write down any feedback, because you're going to have a couple of minutes when we're through to make some changes to your vision statement. Okay, so you're going to go through this exercise. Both of you are going to have an opportunity to do this, and then we're going to come back and take it from there. All right.
All right, so Shelley, will you paste those prompts in the chat, and I get us ready for the breakout?
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to win.
All right, Cynthia, you are not muted. Oh, you are muted, sorry.
Okay,
there you
got
go.
it. I don't know how that happened. I wasn't muted, then I was muted. All right. So what I was saying is to take a couple of minutes to jot down any notes, any insight that you got from talking with your partner, anything that you feel will enhance the overall mission vision statement when you take the time to go back and really put a little bit more thought into it. But I'm hoping that this has got you started like percolating. This is a percolating exercise today. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes.
So are we back into our groups of 2?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So who should we be, we're just thinking about this, right?
It's to write down any feedback that you got that you didn't
Oh,
already
okay.
capture.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Sure. Okay. So I wanted to give a moment and ask if anybody would like to, I'm going to just get rid of this for a second. If anybody would like to share their vision statement. Unfortunately, we're not going to have time for feedback or conversation, but does anybody feel excited or confused or curious and you'd like to share what you came up with?
You know, I'd like to share really quickly it was really interesting. My partner broke it down for me. I had a number out there, my annual number, which I mean, X years from now. And I put it, she said, well, okay, what you need to do now is make X dollars per month for 3 years. And I'm like, oh boy, see, it's like, it really nailed it. Now I got to go out and do that.
And that's the beauty of the plan, because the rest of your plan is built to support that vision. So she was right on and taking you right into how it was you're going to actually manifest that level of revenue. So thank you for that, Herb. Anybody else want to share a vision?
Yeah, Roger. One of the things very helpful consultation I got was how to be more specific in your mission statements so people understand what you do, because I'm in market research and there's a lot of flavors of that. So she helped me make sure that I had some specificity so that people kind of get it if they were to read it outside of myself.
Are you going to share it with us?
Oh, sure, I can read it. So I'm new, so guessing on revenue is really tough.
Don't worry.
But I said within the next 2 years, grow research and marketing strategies into a successful $50,000 regional market research consultancy specializing in survey research and strategy, targeted to small and medium-sized businesses, nonprofits, and wine industry participants. So that's it. And I put in wine industry participants because I love wine in the industry and most of them were quite small.
All right, thank you. Good start. Anybody else want to share their vision?
Christy Cahill wanted to share.
Sorry, I was trying to find the raise hand and it was hiding from me. I was with Roger and I were partners in this process and he gave me some good feedback. So within the next 5 years, grow Haven Wealth Management into a successful 100 million in assets under management regional wealth management firm, acting as a family CFO and providing financial planning, investment, and insurance services to professional women.
Great, thank you.
I can kind of share. I actually didn't get a chance to go through it because I was working with Herb and I was like, oh, that's great. And let's, I was saying that, amount divided into 10 months for his year. And it made me think, well, for my thing, I could do the same thing and, try to really think about getting that amount. And then the people that would be his ideal client, I was like, who's the best client you could have? And he's like, Salesforce. And I'm like, okay, well, focus on Salesforce.
Okay,
and
so I want you to share your vision statement.
Right, well, it was mine. So what he was saying was like the perfect person to connect with because Salesforce would be perfect for me. So that's what I'm saying is that everything I was telling him would be perfect for what I do. So, yeah.
So now you have to translate it into writing it for yourself.
Well, it's similar, except for that I put, what my ideal, what I'm doing. It's similar what we do, actually.
Okay.
Mine's just a little bit more in the spiritual and emotional, different way than his emotional and authentic change group was.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so Joanne is willing to share. If you can find Joanne and unmute her.
Yes. Deborah Myers was my buddy. She insisted that I share mine. Within the next 3 to 5 years, grow Living Your Dream Coaching into a successful $120,000 national in business in annual sales, focusing on executive coaching, career coaching, helping people gain greater job satisfaction and career development, providing one-on-one sessions, mentor groups, public speaking, workshops for retaining top performing staff, to individuals who are ready to make a change in their career for greater fulfillment, and to organizations who want to improve their corporate culture, retain top staff, and save money in hiring costs.
It's a little bit wordy, and your job will be to go in and smooth it over. But I always think more is better than less, because when you have a lot to work with, you can just hone it into that perfect little sound bite. So excellent job, Joanne.
Thank you.
Okay, one more, and then is there one more person, or should we wrap up now? It's hard for me to follow with all these beautiful faces on the screen. Okay, go ahead. Are we okay? So I'm going to go back very briefly to the PowerPoint, and I think I'm gonna keep it. Pardon me?
You were looking for one more. Stacy Lapper wanted to share.
Okay.
I could go very, very quickly, if that's okay. And thanks to Ron. Within the next 3 years, grow Stacy Lappick Interiors into a successful $750,000 national luxury design firm, providing custom interiors that recognize our innate connection to nature, to high net worth individuals and families who've moved into a new home or building a vacation home and will dare to create something extraordinary.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Those of you who shared did a fabulous job, and I'm hoping that you're seeing how this is an excellent beginning to really putting together that literal vision that you have for moving your business forward to its next level. All right, so I do need to finish up with the PowerPoint. So sadly, I'm going to go back one more time and get that happening. Okay, so this is a quote that Jim Horan used a lot, which I have adapted. The next level of success will require the next level of discipline. And I often substitute, instead of discipline, commitment, because so I want to offer that if the discipline word works for you, go that way. If the commitment word goes for you, go that way. Okay, but what are we talking about here, right? So it's the next level of discipline and or commitment in your thinking, your communication, your decision-making, your execution, and your accountability. And those are all very specific, important pieces of your business to be contemplating with seriousness and intention, okay? So I want to, first of all, I want to thank you, and I'm going to give a little bit of an option for you if you want to consider the one-page business plan. I've got a COVID price of $97. It's usually $495. As I was telling my small group at the beginning, I used to do this as a one-day intensive, and now I'm doing it as a 5-week, 2-hour-a-week small group webinar, and it is pretty fabulous. Each week is one of the 5 parts of the plan. By the end of the 5 weeks, you have a pretty strong draft, depending on how much effort and intention you put into it. If you want to attend the November or the January webinar, the dates are up here. My website is here. And if you wanted to bring together your own group of 6 to 8 people, your colleagues, perhaps you're part of an organization, part of a networking, and you want to work with your own group of friends, colleagues, clients, whomever, I'd be happy to put together a webinar for you at the same pricing through the beginning of the year. So there we have it. And thank you. I really appreciate that you were here, that you spent your morning with BACN and with me and provided me the opportunity to share the fabulous one-page business plan with you. And I thank you again. Yay.
That was super, super, super fabulous. Does anybody have any questions so far? You know, Cynthia, you like ended early. I'm like, I'm totally impressed. I know we were working on this because we really try to respect everybody's timing. But I hope this whole day, kind of just between the life hack and the branding and how you appear online, you know, in your Zoom box, has really let you like kind of go inside and see where your business is in this crazy, crazy time. I mean, somebody mentioned that they really didn't like the word pivot, that they want to pirouette. So I really quite like that term, pirouetting. Personally, it's really more of a pivot for me. It's kind of like a left turn and keep going. But I really want you to really think about your businesses, and this is the time to do that. You know, how you look online, how you look to your clients, how do your clients find you, how do you engage with your clients, as well as how to build your brand and your vision going forward at this crazy time. So it's a great time for reflection.